Welcome back to Friday Sews. I think it's episode 9 today. Now, I've been filming all week, so I'm currently filming this intro Thursday, and this video will be going out tomorrow. But I've actually filmed on... Where did I start filming? I started filming Saturday, so I filmed on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today is Thursday. And I'm not totally done with my video yet, so after this intro, I'm going to be doing more video throughout this day. So yeah, I've got a lot on my plate actually. It's not because I didn't have enough to show you. I could have probably finished it, but I kind of feel like I'm a little bit up in the air, but you'll kind of understand that later on in the video. So on Saturday, I'll start off showing you, well, I talk about my plans for the week, and there's a few goings on, and I'll show you my finished Alice top with me wearing it. I talk about the fabric I'm going to be using for my next project and supplies. We have a bit of a chat about sharps, what to do with your sharps. Then I kind of show you a few snippets of my projecting process. We have another bit of a chat, sewing chat. I'll show you a little bit of some work going in the garden, a snippet of the chickens. There's an antics and plans again. And then by the time we get to Monday, you see a bit of the snippet of me on the overlocker. Yeah, just basically, I don't want to really give it all away. There's a lot of dressmaking going on. It's all, anything craft related has been sewing. It's all sewing, no other craft involved. But there's a few like life antics and things. So I really hope you enjoy today's Friday Sews. And I'll send you off to Saturday morning, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, welcome back. It's Saturday the 24th of April, so I've got a hair on my face, 24th of April, and I'm in my craft room. My husband is outside and he's changing the fence panels. So, well, it's a little bit more than changing fence panels. He's ripping out old posts and putting a new fence in, but he's only doing the first little bit at the moment because he's putting in a temporary kind of fence, because when we extend, that's going to be going, so he's kind of doing like a wooden structured bit, and then it's going to go into concrete further down kind of thing. So he's out there enjoying the sunshine. Actually, I'm a little bit jealous, but I don't feel like I could just sit out there and, you know, just watching him and stuff. And he's not in the best of moods because I think Liverpool have just lost, so yeah, he seems a bit grumpy, so I'm better off keeping out of the way. But anyway, so what's happening is I'm going to do the Marlo sweater. I'm not going to leave it to late in the week, and then we're going to be rushing and rushing like I have been. And and actually I've posted a photograph now of my Alice top. I've put the instructions away now, so I'll pop in a photograph of my finished Alice top with me wearing it. Now the photo came out quite bright actually. The blue isn't that bright, and people were saying really nice, oh, I love that colour on you and things, thinking it really isn't that blue, but yeah, it did come out like nice and bright, didn't it? So yeah, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm going to wear it as an outerwear kind of garment, not as a top. It's quite nice, say if you're going out in the evening and you've got a little top and jeans on and you were just like going for a meal, but then you were going to be cold going in and coming out. It's just a nice little throwover. It's a bit smarter than, you know, some coats, I suppose, isn't it? You know, so yeah, I'll keep it for that kind of thing. So I've decided I'm going to make the Marlo in this French terry. Do you know the one? I was going to make the Hudson pants. That's it. I had to think about that. Hudson pants by True Bias. How funny. The Hudson pants are by True Bias and the Marlo sweaters by True Bias. I'm just wondering what else have I made True Bias. Maybe I'm kind of favouring this designer maybe. But this fabric came from My Fabrics. You know, it was the one I waited for ages, and it's come with fabric instructions on how to wash it. So I'm going to throw this in the wash now at 30 degrees, no tumble dry, and iron at a low temperature. So this is going to take a while to wash and to dry and everything. But while that's happening, what I'm going to do is, I've got my Marlo pattern pieces here. I'm going to cut them out individually, and then I'm going to trace out the ones I need. I nearly made a decision just to cut it out, and I thought, no, I'm going to trace them. And then what I'll do is, obviously I'll have to put it aside while I wait for this, but I might even, because obviously my sunny dress, I've got all the pattern pieces, I might lay this out and cut out my sunny dress while I wait. And I have got a free motion project in mind. I showed you a little snippet in my last Friday video where one lunchtime I was designing a bag. It's basically just a drawstring bag that's going to have free motion embroidery on it, and it's just going to be somewhere to keep the coloured dice for my boys, so you can kind of put your hand in and see what colour dice you get. So that will be like, I'll say that's the pen you've got to pick, then shake the dice, that's how many words, you know, that kind of game kind of thing. So yeah, so that's what's going to be happening. And I was tempted to get cracking with that today, but I thought, no, I'm going to do the dressmaking first, and then when I've done a bit of dressmaking, then go on to the free motion project. So we'll just see how we get on. Ideally, my ideal world, I'd like to make one garment a week and one non-garment a week in my ideal world, but it has been happening, hasn't it, a lot of weeks, but yeah, it can't happen every week, can it? So yeah, we'll just, and it all depends. If you're using a pattern that you've made before and you've got all your pattern pieces out, great, but I make a lot of new things, don't I don't often repeat a project very often. I'm normally like, well, what's next kind of thing. So I have that big rigmarole of going back to the drawing board and everything, don't I? So anyway, I'm going to go now, pop some, maybe other washing in the wash as well to make it, you know, better for the environment, you know, wasteful on water and whatever. And yeah, and when I've got a bit more to show you, I'll be back. So I don't know what day that will be, but no doubt it will be soon. So thank you for joining me so far, and I'll see you in the next bit. Right, I forgot to mention the buttons arrived as well. I don't know if that one's broken actually. There's 10 buttons in here, and I only need 3 to make the mini jacket. So I think those are the buttons I'm going to use. I've got them from Amazon. They've got butterflies on them, look. So those are the buttons. It's exciting. And I don't think I'm going to make the Hudson pants now in that fabric. I think realistically, is that light fabric ideal for trousers? I am a bit of a messy eater as well, and I don't think I'm planning on wearing the Hudson pants out. They're going to be in the house things, so no doubt I'm going to be eating food in them and things. So yeah, I think I'm going to make them in something a bit darker. So yeah, I think those I'm not destined to make either, am I? I've been through a lot to try and get to those Hudson pants, and they're still not happening. But at least now I've got some fabric to make my Marlo sweater, and I've had a look, and French terry is one of the fabrics that's suitable. Oh, and thank you so much. On my last video, a couple of people have mentioned that and Hales from Hales More Sewing was one of them, saying that be careful of using these big buttons, because a lot of sewing machines will only take 28mm buttons, because it's the one-step buttonhole, isn't it? Well, I generally don't use the one-step buttonhole. I'm not saying I never use it, but generally I use an old Toyota mechanical machine with a 4-step buttonhole. So basically you mark on your fabric how big you want your button, and then you go as like, you could make a button 1 metre long if you wanted one. Do you know what I'm saying? You can choose whatever. So that's how I do my buttons. But I really appreciate you saying that, because imagine, you know, I'd have hit the same hurdle if I didn't have that kind of old machine. And thank you so much. I've had 2 comments about using Tic Tac boxes to put your sharps in. Now that's a wonderful idea, because I used to be a dental nurse and we used to have a sharps box, and it really doesn't sit right with me putting sharp things in the bin, because I know it's for, you know, because you'd be spreading, you know, hepatitis and whatever, couldn't you, with the dental kind of thing. I know that's not the same kind of thinking, but I don't like putting sharp things in the bin, and I have been guilty of just stabbing them into things, because I think, well, I don't want to put that in the bin kind of thing. So yeah, so thank you so much. I think that's a wonderful idea, and if you could let me know where I can dump sharps, that would be really useful, because when I worked in the dental surgery, somebody used to come and collect the sharps box from us. It was like a service. So yeah, if you could tell me where a good place is to dispose of my sharps, or whether I just put them in the tic tac bin and then box and then put them in the dustbin, I don't know. But yeah, but thank you so much. Sometimes I'm really glad that I discuss things with you, because I'm not really asking a question, but then I get some lovely ideas. So I really appreciate things like that. So yeah, thank you so much for that. All right, I'll see you in the next bit. Now, I thought you might find this really interesting. I'm just having a look through which pieces I need to trace, because I've basically cut round version A and version B, and I noticed there was 2 neckband pieces, and I thought, oh, is that for different sizes? Well, they're not for different sizes. They're both for version A, and it depends on what kind of stretch your fabric has. How wonderful is that? That one is 40 or more % stretch only, and this one is 20 to 40. So that is so good. So you haven't got to work it out yourself. You can use these. That is just absolutely brilliant. I think they've really thought of a lot of things, haven't they, True Bias? So I thought that was worth a mention. Right, this is how I'm looking now. I've traced out all my pieces that I'm going to need for version A, the short version of the Marlo, in the size I've chosen. Oh, I'm going into low power mode. Bear with me. Hopefully that didn't affect the video when I went to low power mode. I've sorted out some interfacing that I had in my interfacing drawer. It's a knit one, a stretchy one, and I've put my buttons here, so I'm all ready to go with that. But obviously the fabric is still in the washing and I'll have to dry it, so I might lay out my other fabric now and lay my sunny dress fabric pieces on, but it's not long until dinner time, so I haven't got much time now. But that's where I currently am on Saturday afternoon. Right, welcome back to another day. Today is Sunday. Now, the way I'd left you yesterday, I was saying that I was going to cut out my sunny dress because I was waiting for my fabric to dry. Well, as it happens, I never got a chance to do that. I was just at the point of laying my fabric out. I was testing the stretch and things, and then it was time for dinner, so I had to leave it. But as it happens...
Oh, sorry. Oh, please use it.
As it happens, my fabric is dried now, so I'm going to put this aside. Let me just grab it. Yeah, I'm going to put this aside for now, and I'm going to work on my Marlo sweater. I don't know if I'm going to do it this side of lunchtime, because it's about 11:05, and it looks like my husband just wanted to talk to me, so I'm probably not going to be able to do it. But oh, and just thought I'd mention, I'm wearing my Linden sweatshirt by... Who's it by? Is this True Bias? The Grain Line Studio. The Grain Line Studio is the Linden sweatshirt. Now, this sweatshirt, I probably made it. I do really like it. It's really nice, but I'd probably shorten it for my taste. I'll just pull it down. It sits there. I'm 5'4". It sits there on me. There's like my waist and my hip bones. It's there, but with jeans, I kind of like mine probably about a bit more there, or even there really. I kind of like it just below hip height ideally, but I like to make patterns sometimes the way they were intended, and then if I make them again, then tinker with them kind of thing. So anyway, so my fabric is all washed and it's here, so I've probably got to either smooth it out or give it a little bit of a press, and I've got all my pattern pieces ready to go. Now, what I haven't told you about this sweater, right, I'll just show it you on the drawings. This, right, as soon as I saw this pattern release, it brought back memories from the 1980s, right? Now, when I was in primary school, well, it might have been early 90s, it depends on what age. I was definitely in primary school, and I remember there was a shop. I think they had a teenage section in a lady shop, and it was called Tammy Girl, and my mum used to like buying me clothes from Tammy Girl, and one time she bought me a cardigan in grey in a sweatshirt kind of material, and it looked just like these did, right? And I put it on and I absolutely loved it because it was a bit different to the knitted ones. Do you know, like the cheap acrylic looking knitted things you get from the school uniform shop? They're not like luxury kind of knit looking things, are they? And anyway, I wore it to school, right? And you know when you wear something to school and you think, am I going to get told off for wearing this? And I absolutely loved it. And you know what? No teacher said a word to me about I couldn't wear it. And I absolutely loved it because it was so like nice inside, you know, like a sweatshirt material. And it was just lovely. And I just felt so special and so different in this cardigan. When I was young, when I was at school, I always wanted to be different. So I'd take threads out in the senior school. I'd take threads out my tie to try and make my tie look different. I just didn't want to look like everybody else. But that's why they have a uniform, isn't it? So everybody looks the same kind of thing. So I totally get now why they do that. But you know, I liked having individuality kind of thing. So, and I think you'd struggle to get that individuality now at my senior school because that's where my boys have gone, and I've got one in there now. They're a lot stricter now. You have to wear this, every girl has to wear the same kind of skirt. You can't just get any old grey skirt. Yeah, so I don't think I'd have liked to been in school today because you could kind of get away with things a little bit more when I was there. But yeah, so it's really nostalgic for me. So it would be lovely to make one in grey, but this is kind of a bit of like a beige, a mottled beige kind of colour, I'd say. But hopefully it will go nice with these buttons. Just hold it up. But yeah, I think it's going to look really nice. So hopefully I'll get to have a chance at working on that today, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm going to see what my husband wanted, and hopefully I'll get back in here and work and start cutting out my Marlo sweater cardigan, which would be great, wouldn't it? So thank you so much for joining me so far, and I'll see you in the next bit. Right, I thought I'd pop on to tell you what my husband wanted. He's got this thing. He picked it up this morning. It was on actually, after telling my son not to buy things off Facebook Marketplace, he's gone and done the same thing. He's bought this second-hand tool, but he's drove over to a place called Hellzoing, and it's this thing for getting like posts and tree stumps out, and he just wanted to show me, so I'm doing a bit of footage of him, so I'll put that in the video if you're interested. And also I took a tiny little snippet. Do you remember me telling you recently that my halogen oven had broken, and I didn't realise how much I use this halogen oven until it broke, and my kids use it as well. So yeah, I've got a new one. Yeah, I took a tiny little snippet of my do you know those baguettes you get that you bake them yourself, but it's a cheaty way of making bread yourself. So yeah, I've put a couple of those in there, so I took a little clip of that. So if it's any good, I'll put it in. It did look like it was starting to steam up, so maybe I won't use it, but yeah, I'll send you over to some garden footage, and I might even show you the chickens. I think a couple of them are in the nest box, so I'll see you in the next bit. The door's open. You gonna go out? It's unfortunate. It wants to go where the shed is. Yeah. Oh, look at those. Lovely. Welcome back. Right, it's still, where are we? We're still Sunday, the 25th of April. But I'm absolutely exhausted. Right, I've cut out all my Marlo sweater. So what had I done? I'd cut out the pieces. You'd seen I'd done that. I've cut out all my Marlo sweater. I was going to do some sewing, and I didn't. I had to nip off and get my son. He stayed over at his girlfriend's, so I had to go and pick him up from there as well, just before lunch. Actually, it made me have a late lunch, so I think I was getting the shakes, and then there was lunch and everything. So I've cut out my Marlo sweater. I've spent a bit of time outside with my husband and things as well, and done the children lunch and things, and I've cut out the sweater. How many times am I going to say that? And then I realised I filled up my overlocker with dark thread. I did take a little shot of that when I was making my Alice top, but I was going to make the sunny dress with this. So I don't know the last sunny dress I did on my sewing machine, but I've made a decision. I'm going to sew my next sunny dress on my overlocker. So, and there's dark thread in it. So when I'd cut out on my Marlo, I thought, you know what, while the dark thread is in the overlocker, it makes sense to sew the sunny dress. So what I've done is, I've cut out the Marlo and I've cut out all of my sunny dress, but I've ended up tracing the sleeve piece again for the sunny dress because I did the cap sleeve last time, and I'm still doing the cap sleeve this time, but last time I felt like the sleeve was a little bit too big for me. Now that's the model on the front of the pattern, and she does look like she's got a bit of a gap, but I felt like it felt very, very roomy on me, and I have got really skinny arms, right? I am really like, I think I must have a really tiny frame, because if you look at my wrists, look, like people comment on how like thin my wrists are and things, you know, like I know I'm a slim person, but I'm like really skinny I think I've got petite bones kind of thing as well. So so yeah, I think it's just I've got these skinny arms. So I've cut out the smallest. So I use the small size of the sunny dress because I didn't want it to be really skinny bodycon kind of fit on me. I want it to feel a bit more like, you know, loose kind of thing, and not so, you know, look at, you know, my bottom when you go out kind of thing, you know, because you feel a bit like that, don't you, when you're a bit like skin tight, you know. So I wanted it a bit like, you know, t-shirt dress kind of look about it, not really tight bodycon. So I've cut out the same size, but I've just cut the smaller sleeves, so hopefully that's going to work okay. There's not much in it. It looks like it's about ½ an inch smaller in size, so yes, it's probably not going to make a massive difference, but it might make it fit a little bit better. But I'm not going to do any sewing now because it's Sunday and it's 4 o'clock, and my mum and dad, my dad phoned saying that they're going to pop over. My parents are. They said, oh, we were going to have a cup of tea and we're going to come over. I don't know what time it was. So I've just managed to cut out all my pieces for both garments, and they're sitting on the ironing board. I've got the ironing board out in the kitchen. They're sitting on there, all pinned there. So I think that's as far as my crafting is going to go today. But you know what? That's not too bad. So I don't know if I'm going to sew up both garments this week. I'm not sure, so I don't know if I'll sew up one garment and make something else that isn't a garment, and then sew up the next garment and do something that's not a garment. I'm not too sure. So unless if I end up doing 2 garments this week, maybe I won't do a garment next week. Maybe I'll just do non-garment sewing. So yeah, which is what it is, because I'm doing this like YouTube channel. I kind of like, even though I'm kind of doing what I feel like doing, I am kind of trying to keep everybody happy kind of thing. So because I've got a dressmaker following, I want to keep making sure I keep it dressmaking, and I know I've got people that follow me that don't do dressmaking at all, so I'm kind of trying to do a little bit for everybody kind of thing. But I suppose that gives me a bit of a kick up the backside to keep making things that aren't dressmaking and dressmaking kind of thing. So you at home are doing me a favour, really. It's kind of pushing me to make sure I do more. You know, I could kind of like chill out a bit. Like you might find a little bit, you know, as it gets really warm and the summer hits, you know, my makes might change a little bit, you know, when it gets a bit too hot for things, you know, my makes might change a little bit. You know, we'll just see what happens. So so please that you just roll with it with me and just see how it goes, because you know, you do find that you might think, right, let's go out for the day with the family, where if it was winter you might all just stay at home, mightn't you? So yeah, so you've got to make, if you get some nice weather, you know, don't just let it all disappear. Get out there and have a nice time. We've got to enjoy the nice weather when we've got it. And you know, and I won't stop crafting because I'm always crafting, but the volume of it will slow down. But yeah, we'll get to enjoy a bit of sunshine, won't we? And I'm just seeing that John Scott is doing a live video, so I'm going to go and join in and say hi to John for a little bit before my mum and dad get here. And they've bought me some scones from Costco. They buy these big scones, cherry scones, and there's too many for the two of them, so they bring about 6 over, and they bring some of those baguettes that you bake over, so that's great, isn't it? So that's 6. So I'll be having, wow, my husband's on about having a curry tonight, an Indian, so I don't know if I'll be having a scone now. Yeah, we'll just see what happens. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me so far, and it's only Sunday and I've done quite a bit, really, haven't I? Because some weekends I haven't done all that much. So yeah, so I've got lots of time. You might even see me photograph a garment this week, you never know. So thank you so much for joining me so far, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Yeah, possibly tomorrow. Okay, see you in the next bit. Bye. I'm just pointing out a mark that I made on my overlocker, which is 5/8 of an inch away from the left needle, and I did this with a Sharpie marker, so it shows me where to put my fabric up to when I'm sewing a 5/8 of an inch seam. I'm just pointing out here in this shot that when I just want to sew a 3/8 of a seam, I just leave it hanging over a little bit. But this project is 5/8 of an inch seam. Can't wait to try it on. Welcome back. It's Wednesday. I'm really excited. I photographed my dress this morning. Now, in the last piece of video that you saw yesterday, I put my dress on my dress form, but after when I looked at it, I wasn't entirely happy with the neck, because the way I'd stitched it round, you could see a little bit more white on the bit of the neck piece here, on one, I think it might have been this side. So after that footage, and I looked at it, I went back round, I stitched back round, so I made this one on my overlocker. So I did get a little bit of a pucker on the neck actually, so I had a little bit of messing around, unpicking, and then just going back over with the sewing machine. So I think probably the best way, like there's been times I've just sewn in neckbands on the overlocker, no problem at all, or whatever, and done it on the sewing machine. But I think sometimes it is probably, in hindsight, better to baste it in on your sewing machine. Just check, you know, you're happy with the fit of that neckband and everything. Then maybe go back round on the overlocker after, if that's what you feel like. I think in an ideal world, that's probably the best thing to do. But I will admit, a lot of sweatshirts and things, I've all those sweatshirts that you've seen me making over the last few months, I've just gone round on my overlock. I used to do everything on the overlock and then do the neckband on the sewing machine, but then I just stopped doing that. So I don't know, maybe when you're working with something a bit more delicate, jersey, it might be worth doing that actually. Now the dress, it's really nice, but it's come out a little bit more bodycon than I would have liked. I was after more of a skimming t-shirt dress, and the last one was, but this one has come out a bit tighter. Now I don't know if that's because, excuse me one moment, my nose is running. Sorry about that, hay fever season. So yeah, so it's the only alteration I made with this one is I made the sleeve one size smaller because I felt like there was a bit more. See, on the model, her sleeve does stick out, but mine stuck out. If you have a look at my lighter blue one with the pink stripe, I've got more of a gap on mine, so I just sized down to the smallest size, and that has helped a little bit. But overall, the dress is a lot more fitted. It is really a bit more bodycon kind of look about it, which it's kind of the dress, like with that blue one that I made in this fabric, I never felt like I'd got to hoist it down, but I could see in this fabric I might have to pull it down a little bit when I'm wearing it because it's going to ride up. So I don't know if it's just because the stretch was that much different. If my seam allowance was a little bit different because I did one on the sewing machine and one on the overlocker, maybe my seam allowance was a little bit out. Or maybe it's just good living, because I think it was 2 weeks ago I made it. And you know what I'm saying? You could grow in width, couldn't you, in a couple of weeks? So maybe that's happened, because I must admit I didn't remeasure anyway. Like I am when I last measured, I am kind of at the biggest I normally am anyway, so kind of if I work towards the biggest then I'll be fine. The only thing is sometimes when I go on the slimmer side of my size, sometimes I go like between size and things get a bit big really. So I could do with kind of staying about this size really and not going smaller, but you know, it's just ladies' weight, you go up and down, don't you? So yeah, I'm just thinking, is there more stretch in this? I didn't. Do you know what? I'm going to test the stretch while I'm here now. I might have to cut a little bit out. Do you know what? I wouldn't say the stretch is any different really. It looks about the same. The only thing I would say is this one, it feels like you can pull it quite easily, but this one you've got to give it a bit more welly. So maybe that's the difference really. So yeah, I'll bear that in mind. I suppose you just never know, do you, till you make something, what it's going to be like, really, do you? But overall, I really like it. I'm just a tad disappointed it's so fitted. I just would have liked it to have been a bit looser, so, you know, I could, like, you know, go out in the day. It's not so bum hugging and, you know, and things. But yeah, I will wear it, but I've just got to be mindful. Maybe if I go a little bit slimmer, which I sometimes do, it will loosen up a bit, won't it? So maybe that's the thing. So actually I'll pop in some photographs if I haven't already, so I'll pop those in now for you to see, and I'll pop in the one I made last time so you can kind of see the difference. And basically it's exactly the same size, just different fabric, but apart from the sleeve, I've made the sleeve smaller. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing the sunny dress. I found out, because when I got this pattern, I think I got it in a pattern sale, and I was buying other things, and I just saw that and threw it in, and this actually came out in 2017. So I wasn't even making myself dresses in 2017. You know, I wasn't hardly doing much dressmaking at all. I'd love to see actually how many things I did make into, you know, clothes making in 2017. It just used to be, I used to make the odd garment here and there, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't an important thing. So yeah, so I'll have a look back. So I hope you've liked seeing the sunny dress. But now this means I can go on to make my Marlo sweater. So it's only Wednesday, sewing bee tonight. It's exciting, isn't it? So yeah, so I've got my Marlo sweater here. the time is 11:20. I suppose I could start threading the overlocker up in a lighter thread. However, I'm thinking, is it a good idea to go out and get some dinner now? Before leaving it till later, because it gets quite busy around here with the schools and the local shops. I think everybody thinks let's go and do a bit of food shopping when we're doing the school time, so it's probably a really good time to nip to the shop now. So yeah, I might do that. I don't know if I'm going to end up getting some sewing done, I don't know. So yeah, we'll just see what happens, but I'd really like to get cracking on my Marlo sweater. Whether it's done before the end of Friday sews, I don't know. Please don't hold me to it, but yes, so watch this space, and I hope you enjoy the sewing bee tonight. So I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the next bit. And I've run a chain, so it's all working okay. I've had to get the master copy back out of my pattern because I was looking at the neckband, and when I was looking at the instructions, the notches didn't make sense. I'd put these notches in here, but I'd managed to miss that notch, that one, those two and those two. So I've just traced them onto my trace copy. Now I'm going to transfer those onto the fabric. Now the pattern will make more sense. Right, welcome back. It's actually 7:50 in the evening on Wednesday evening. I don't normally film this late, do I? But the only reason I'm filming is my husband's still in the garden because he's been having to get this old tree stump out to try and get the fence nice and straight. And I think this tree stump has beaten him. But I've been busy making my Marlo sweater. Now you may notice I've actually got it on, right? It's not finished yet, so we can't judge it entirely, but I'll tell you what's been happening. Now I went to make it and then I realised I hadn't cut out a waistband. I'd cut out the pattern piece, but for some reason I hadn't got a waistband. It was so strange, but anyway, so I got the fabric back out, cut on myself a waistband. Now, the one hurdle I had is when I sewed the waistband in, I didn't like baste it in or anything. I just sewed it in with the overlocker. It was actually too short. Now, it would have been a real big rigmarole getting that off. I'd have had to go back and cut a larger one. So I just made a decision. It was actually, I can't remember how much, it could have been a good half an inch. I made a decision. I just cut that bit off and tapered it up into the garment. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do that. I just thought, well, I can always make another one if it doesn't work out. Then what did happen? Then when I sewed on this bit all the way round, I kind of felt like my chest isn't big enough for it, if you know what I'm saying. It kind of feels a bit like I need more bosom. I just feel like I've just not got enough bosom for it to sit nicely. I didn't really like how it was looking, really. You know what I'm saying? It looks like where the point is, I feel like you need like a Madonna boob. Do you know what I'm saying? I think if it sat there, it would be okay. Maybe if I pull it round like that. Maybe there. Maybe that's where it needs to sit, actually. And then when I put the buttons in, yeah, because I haven't put the buttons in yet. Maybe it needs to go there like that. I've made the size 0 and it is a drop shoulder. So I can't really, obviously I can't really, I could go smaller, but I think it looks a nice size, doesn't it? But I didn't like how it was sitting, but what I did, and it has improved it, I've took it to my cover stitch machine and I've actually cover stitched all round here, and it actually looks a little bit better. So yeah, I've not been as excited about it. Can you see what I'm saying here? Because the garment, sorry, this is going to rattle around. it has a point there, look. And you're meant to just ease it round here. Well, so I think. And it just doesn't like it. I think maybe if you were really busty, I wonder what the true bias draft to, if it's like a dressmaker's C cup. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I don't know. So, but you know what? I can still wear it. Like, I don't know whether to just not bother doing the buttons actually, and just wear it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I will do the buttons. Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you like it? I don't know. What I kind of like stepping back. I kind of like the overall look of it. But yeah, it's like a drop shoulder, and what you find you're doing is your bands are smaller, and you're kind of having to, stretch your band to get your garment in. And I don't think this should be stretched round here. I think it should probably fit perfectly, but I've had to stretch it to get it to fit. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've stretched it round here. But yeah, I don't know. So what do you think of it? So we're only Wednesday, so I've got time. So I've done a bit of sewing of this on my sewing machine. I've done a lot of it on my overlocker. I've been on my cover stitch machine. So that's 3 machines I've used on this, and I actually do my buttonholes mainly on another machine. So I'll have used 4 different machines to make this. That's some going, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get. No, I'm not going to get the buttonholes done tonight, because I get the other machine out in the kitchen, and I don't think it's the time really is it to be getting another machine out on the kitchen island or whatever. So yeah, so thank you for joining me for this bit. It's going to be sewing bee at 9 o'clock. So I'll come back on tomorrow to and what I'll try and do is I'll try and get the buttonholes done, get the buttons sewn on maybe. And then come back to you, or I'll come on and have a chat, and then maybe it'll be another time. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think of this. I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of like it. I don't know if it's just that's that bit. I don't know. So yeah, please tell me what you think of it. But there is another pattern, right, that's quite similar to this, and I'm a member of Seamwork, and it's on Seamwork, and I've got it saved. So I might, you know what? I've got all this fabric, haven't I? I could actually make, and it's a longer cardigan. I could have another go, couldn't I? A different cardigan, and see what I think of that one. Yeah, it's quite nice. I could, if I don't like it, it's something to wear on this. Oh, and I'm wearing my Astoria from Seamwork. Hi, Jack. Oh, I'm finishing now. Yeah, this is my Astoria from Seamwork. I absolutely love this jumper. I've not wore it an awful lot since I've made it, because I kind of feel like it's nice and figure hugging. It's the kind of thing I'd like to go out and have a lunch with my husband in, I think it's nice and shapely. So I've kind of saved it and it's pink and girly, kind of like a bit like lunch dates kind of thing. So yeah, so let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next bit. Right, now I'm going to send you over to a little bit of footage from Wednesday evening, and it's showing you what my husband has got out of the ground. He's basically been hacking away at this old tree stump, a tree that had been cut down because the neighbours wanted it cut down, because it was like hanging over their side. It was kind of wrecking the fence and things. So it had been chopped down by a tree surgeon, but the base was still in there. So my husband, to get a nice straight fence, had to get it out. So I'll show you now what he got out of the ground. This is it, and then I'll show you the hole where it's come out of.
Come on, they're all following you because you've come. Come on, you. Right, come on.
Right, it's now Thursday morning, and I just want to apologise if you hear any beeping. I've had a look over the road. I can hear it now. They've got a digger out over there, and that's what's beeping. So I apologise about that. And I've noticed my eyes are looking a bit bad. I've got hay fever, and I've noticed they're looking a bit poorly this morning. But never mind. But we're now Thursday morning anyway, and I'm back on, but I haven't yet sewn the buttonholes on my Marlo sweater. It's just because it's so early and I just haven't got round to that yet. All I've done is done a few bits around the house, had breakfast, got my son off to school and stuff and got ready and things. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. But I was having a little bit of a dig around last night while I was sitting relaxing, and I thought I'd have a look at the Marlo sweater. Actually, the photographs haven't come over. Right, I'll be back in a moment. Right, I'm back. Now, where I left you yesterday, I wasn't entirely happy with my Marlo sweater, was I? So I had a bit of digging around on the True Buyers website, and they have got a bit of a walkthrough of how to make the Marlo sweater. Now, I'm going to look at photographs, and then the photographs that I saved off the website didn't save, so I've had to take some screenshots. So I'm going to put them in, and I really hope that you can see these okay. So these are photographs showing the button when you're putting the buttons in. Now, if you look at the neckband piece around here, it does look like it's a bit bulbous, doesn't it? So I'll put a number of photographs up. So some you can really see that it's quite ripply round there. So I don't think it's me. I do think I've had to overstretch the garment, the neckband, but if you have a look, it is a bit bulbous around that area. So what I'm thinking of doing is, obviously, my Marlo, it's what's done is done now, isn't it? I'm going to put the buttons on, I'm going to wear it, I'm going to be happy with it, but I would like to make another one. I don't know if I've got enough fabric to make another one, or the right kind of fabric. I really don't, without looking. I suspect I haven't. I don't know, but I'll have a little dig around, and I'm going to make another one. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make when I do the waistband piece, I'm going to mark it all out with all the notches and things, but I'm going to make it longer than it says it's supposed to be. Then try and match up all my notches, and then if there's a bit of I don't want it to be short like what happened on this one. And the same with the neckband piece. I'm going to make the neckband much longer than it's supposed to be, and really not feel like I've got to stretch it at any point to make this neckband piece, because I really did think, am I going to get this long enough? Because really you should be leaving like a 3/8 of an inch overhang at the bottom, so you can stitch it up. But I didn't do that first. I made sure I sewed it in first and just saw what I was left with, and I had barely anything left to sew. So to have that end piece, if you've made the Marlo, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So yes, I'm definitely going to make the Marlo again. I really like the pattern, but I just feel like I need to tweak it a little bit to make it, satisfactory to me. Now, I mentioned another cardigan. Oh, that's it. Before I go on to this other cardigan, I just want to show you. Now, I've had a look at the larger model they've got on their website, and it sits really nice on her bust area. She is quite busty, but there is a little bit of drape on the one boob. There isn't on the other one, but she has got her arm back like this. And on another photograph, it shows you a more slender lady, and it just kind of really hangs here, doesn't it, really, the cardigan? But I've had a look at the Milo sweater on Seamwork, so I'll pop a photograph of that. Now that looks like it hasn't got the drop shoulder like the Marlo. The arms are a lot more fitted. It's not as mini as the Marlo, and it's not as long. This particular photo, it's not as long as the long Marlo, but it does look like it sits quite nice. But you she has got her arm back here, but then I found another photograph. There's a longer version of it. Now have a look at this photograph. You can see on the one side she's got a little bit of a pucker there, hasn't she? But then the side there isn't a pucker. She's got her arm back like this on her hip, but her arm's backwards. So yeah, maybe that's kind of what you can get. Maybe it is because whoever's sewn it has stretched it round that bit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it might be worth putting some seam tape on the garment around that area and just making sure your band is much longer than you need it, so you don't feel you're having to force this band round to make it fit. So I'm really looking forward to making another Marlo. I really am. So obviously I'll put the buttons, I'm looking over there but it's upstairs, I'll put the buttons on. I don't know if I'm entirely happy with my button choice now. I'll before I make a decision, I will have a look. I'll put those on and have a look. So it's Thursday morning, so I'm not going to finish the video now, just in case something happens today. So I'll finish my video off later this evening, and then we'll go from there. But I just thought I'd mention something. I wore this, I think, in my last video, and I've got it on today. This is a shop bought garment. I'll just pop my hair back. Actually, I've taken a photograph of me wearing this because I wanted to talk about it. So I'll pop a photograph in now of me wearing this, and it's a bit of a beach cover-up thingy, but the reason I bought it is because I wanted to try this style. I think I really like this low V button down style. This has got a collar on it, but I don't think I'd mind if it did have a collar or didn't have a collar. And I really like this. It's kind of it's a grown-on sleeve, which I didn't know if I was a massive fan of because I like setting in sleeves, and it's got cuffs, look. So I kind of sometimes I buy things because I like to see what I think of the style. Now I was thinking maybe of making, I haven't got this pattern, this would be a future thing, looking at the Cali shirt. Who is that by? I don't want to say who the designer is because I can't think off my hand who the Cali shirt is by. But this reminds me of it a little bit, look. The only thing different is this has got a waist tie here, look. See, there's nothing going on here. It comes off here, but it's just, I don't know if it's on the inside. There is a seam. There is a seam going around here on it, look. And it's smocked, look. It looks like, to me, that's a separate piece of fabric that's been smocked. And then they've put it in after. So maybe when they cut the shirt out, it was cut like that, look. It was coming down like this. Then this was sewn in. And then later they sewed the bottom of it in, kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? I haven't seen a pattern like this. I'm not saying that I feel the need to recreate this, you know. I'm not overly fussed with that, really. I think I quite like the, you know, it's straight, really. Oh gosh, my buttons come undone. I don't know. Do I like it because it's like, it does look nice, doesn't it? I think this would be nice, actually, just as a tie top. Maybe that's something I'll look at, you know, for a top. Maybe if I decide to do a Cali, maybe I'll make a Cali and then later on I hack it and maybe do like a smocked waistband and put a tie on it, because I've never seen anything like that before. So I quite like buying clothes and having a look at things and kind of like picking apart what I like from them, and then either combining it with a dress pattern or just making my own or something. So yeah, it's quite exciting, isn't it? Like coming up with your own vision for a garment and things. So I'm not saying this is an immediate plan, because I think I'm in the the Marlo zone at the moment. I think I'd really like to maybe a blue Marlo. I would like different Marlos in that little style, because it just means over the summer, whatever I wear, I could take a little Marlo out with me and just pop it over the top, couldn't I? Or one of my current cardigans, one, you know, my crochet one or something I've made. And I've got a really nice shop bought white cardigan, and it I think I've wore it in one of my videos. I had a green top on, but I didn't mention it, and it looks a bit like fishnet, and it looks really nice. So and that's a lovely little cardigan I like wearing at the moment as well. Yeah, I really like small cardigans with just a few buttons. So yeah, I'm in an all cardigan zone at the moment. So yeah, I'll just move that out the way. It's my iPad. It's one of those, that JML thing, remember I showed you over Vlogmas, I was all excited about. So so that's where I'm at now on Thursday morning. And you know, hopefully there's going to be something going on today sewing. Is there? Well, if I decide I don't like those buttons, I don't really want to sew buttonholes, do I? Because then they won't be the right size. So, well, whatever happens today, whether any sewing or anything happens or not, I will be back. Oh, and I've bought a book and it's arrived. I bought the new Sewing Bee book, and I can't really give you a good old review of it because I've only had a flick through of it. There's no sewing patterns in it. It's just techniques, dressmaking techniques. So, for example, say if you wanted to lower the crotch rise on a pair of trousers, you know, it shows you how to do that. It's quite a good instruction book from what I can see, but I haven't looked at it in depth yet. So yeah, I hope you like what you've seen so far, and I'll see you in the next bit, whether it's more sewing antics or goodbyes, I'm not sure. So I'll see you later. Bye. Right, my kitchen is looking in a bit of a mess. I've got my old Toyota sewing machine out on my kitchen island. It's a bit of an old looking thing. I don't know what was on here. I don't know why sewing machines, they get dirty, don't they? I don't know if I'll ever get that off, I'm not sure. The buttonhole is on here, and I've got the placement. So this, I cut some holes with an Exo knife here to mark out my buttonholes, but I made them bigger than this. I made mine 1.25 inches to make my buttonholes, because I've already done it. And then what I did is, to make sure the button was central, I folded this in half like this on each one, look. See, so I was knowing where the centre of each button was. So when I put that onto my fabric, I marked a dot with a disappearing pen right on that crease on the buttons. So I've put the buttons on and I've done the buttonholes. So all I've got to do now is try it on. I thought this was worth mentioning. Now, I started out doing free motion embroidery on this old machine, and you can't drop the feed dogs, but this particular machine, I was able to order a darning like plate kind of thing. So you just place that on top of there, look, and it covers your feed dogs. So that means then you can do free motion. Look, so if I take that off, see, there's the feed dogs that drag the fabric through. And that just covers it up like that. Thought you might like seeing that. So welcome back to the final part of Friday Sews. I've decided I'm going to end the video now. It's only 11:30 on Thursday morning, but whatever happens from now onwards, it's going to go into the next video. So yeah, so I've finished my Marlo. Now I just popped it on upstairs and I've taken some photographs of it, so I'll start popping those photographs in now. I haven't had a look at them yet. I've just quickly had some photographs taken, and then I'm going to pop them in, and I'll have a look at them after. But I thought I'll come into my video wearing it. But you know what, I really like it. It's turned out a lot better than I hoped, really. I do think if I was to make it again, I would do those things I said. I'd make the waistband longer than what it said. I would make the neck piece longer than it said, and then just do it to what I feel. But overall, you know, I think it's that kind of style, isn't it? It's not like a, you know, a really smooth kind of look about it. However, I think like it's meant to be gathered in here, basically. Look, it's meant to be gathered here, you know. So but I think it would look better, a bit more smooth line down here. So I'm definitely going to make another one, and I have been digging around. So I don't know if I'm going to do this as my next make. I'm not sure, because I was kind of thinking when I finish this, I wanted to make something like woven, you know, non-stretchy garment, but I'm tempted to make another Marlo and see if I could tweak it a little bit. And I've had a look at my fabrics now. I don't know if I'd have enough of this, but you know the Linden sweatshirt I was wearing the other day by the Grain Line Studio? Well, I forgot, didn't I, who it was? It's this sweatshirt in. Now this is what I've got left over. I don't know if I've got enough of that. I don't know how much this pink suits me, really. Do you know, when I wear that pink jumper, I don't know if it's really, but with a cardigan you can kind of, you have like a white t-shirt underneath. But as I say, I don't know if I've got enough of that, but I might lay my pieces out and have a look. But I have got this now. I bought this for Valentine's Day. I was going to make maybe a little cardigan or jumper to wear like that, not night time. Say if I went out for a nice meal with my husband, I wouldn't have wore like a jumper out for Valentine's Day. But do you know, if we'd done anything in the day, that would have been nice. But I'm thinking maybe a Marlo sweater, but I don't know. Do you know, with the neckband pieces and things, if it's would look a bit strange, because you cut them across the width, so you'd have some weird bits, because it's quite a big print, isn't it? So I'm not entirely sure. I did think about teaming it up with this, but I think the pink clashes a little bit, really. You know, I don't think that would go well together. That same old story with fabrics aren't matching. I'm just wondering if yeah, I don't know. So I don't know yet if I'll definitely be doing a Marlo next. I really don't know, but yeah, I really like it. I do, and I think it goes quite nice actually with this Astoria jumper. But it's quite cozy, you know. Do you know, it's quite nice actually during the winter. Say if you was going out, say Toby Carvery or something, and you know, it was winter, but you know, you wanted a few layers, but you don't want to be like real dull. I don't really like dull looking fabrics, really. I like things a little bit brighter and things. So so yeah, I don't know, that's not really bright, is it? Grey, but it's not dark, is it? And you can kind of team it up with a bit of pink. So anyway, I'm going on and on, aren't I, like I usually do. So thank you so much for joining me on my sewing adventures this week. I've really enjoyed bringing them to you. I really hope you've liked seeing all the ups and downs of these makes, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Okay, take care, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.